Hey, this is Red Foster Dad. This is not going to be a fun video about fostering. This is actually a pretty crappy video about fostering and the crappy reality that comes along with being in that game. We had a foster daughter that was removed from us on Monday because she was placed with her adoptive family, and even though we were told and we told everybody that we were wanting to adopt her. The CPS caseworker pretty much lied in court, saying that we didn't want to adopt her because that there was some possibility of some genetic issues, and that's not the case. We told her that we wanted to get genetic testing done because if there was the genetic issue that we're thinking was happening, then it would be very hard for us to adopt because of two of our other kids most likely not being able to fly the coop because of their genetic issues and their mental health disabilities. But we brought that up, to be fully transparent. Like, hey, we want to get genetic testing done because of XYZ. Well, the CPS caseworker told the judge that we didn't want to adopt her. Now, the other side of that story is that our foster daughter has a older sibling that was with us for a few months, had a huge disruption of the house, caused my adopted son a lot of mental health issues, a lot of mental health concerns, went into just some deep depression because of manipulation that girl had learned along the way of being in homeless shelters, being around sexual predators and all that. And so the bio mom wanted the two sisters to have a relationship, and we were semi okay with it, but not to the extent that the bio mom wanted us to have the relationship. She wanted a pretty extensive one. We were not down for that. We were down for like maybe 2 or 3 times a year as far as visits, get-togethers, stuff like that. Now we told that we would send pictures and updates on a regular basis, but the relationship between the older sister and the foster daughter and our foster daughter would not have been as extensive as the bio mom wanted. And so between that and the genetic testing wanting to be done before we agreed to adopt, CPS was like, nope, sorry, we're not going to do this, even though we had been in the talks about adopting her for months and months. I mean, she'd been with us for 11 months, and we'd been talking about adopting her for 6 of those months. And it was a pretty crappy feeling that this fictive kin came out of nowhere, got licensed, investigated, home studied within 5 weeks. It was closer to 4 weeks. And then once they got the approval last Tuesday, we were told on Friday that she was being picked up on Monday to go be with her family. So we had like 3 days to process, not even 3 days to process that Chinchilla was not going to be with us for much longer. And I mean, that girl was with us for almost a year. And it's very hard. It's a very hard situation to be in. And it's not, yes, it's discouraging for us to be, to continue to be foster parents, but it's not going to stop us from being foster parents. We will still continue to be transparent with our CPS caseworkers, with the bio family, as far as any kind of genetics or any kind of disabilities that may come up. We're not going to hide anything because that's not what's right for the kid, And this whole thing of like, oh, the kids, where they need to be, the kids where they need to be. You know what? I hope that's the case. I pray that that's the case, because this little girl deserves so much more than what was given to her the first 5 months of her life. And hopefully this family that she's being adopted by is going to provide for her what she needs and deserves. And you know, here's another thing, is when she was picked up, or even beforehand, and even up to this day, is 4 days later, that CPS caseworker hasn't asked about anything. Hasn't asked about sleep schedule, eating schedule, what she likes, what she dislikes, any doctor's appointments, any medical concerns. Did we get the genetic testing scheduled? None of that. None of that. So how crappy is that for a CPS caseworker who should be in the kid's corner to just be shitty, you know? So anyway, hard reality is you're gonna get your heart broken, but you got to keep your head up. You're gonna get your heart broken, and if you continue to be in it for the long haul, as far as fostering and adopting, know that it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be, you know, dolphins and rainbows. It's sometimes hell and brimfire, right? But just know that even though you get your nuts kicked in sometimes because of the fostering situation, because of CPS caseworkers, because of lawyers are shit, because judges are, you know, horrible, whatever it is, know that the next kids that are going to come into your life are going to be truly grateful. They're going to need you, and they're going to be forever grateful that you've stepped up to the plate in order to take care of them, in order to be there for them, and be that advocate and that dad and that mom that their bios couldn't be at the time or aren't, right? So just know that sometimes fostering's a shit show because it's fun. Sometimes it's a shit show because shitty situations. But anyway, this is Red Foster Dad, and I'm out.